This time of year when you're grilling meats, you're eating spicier food, hotter food, you always wanna have something cool and rich in order to dip it into or to kind of offset that heat, literal heat or figurative heat by way of spice. So this is really a base that we use and we make here in the house. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create kind of a rich and creamy sauce. It's almost like a ranch-esque type sauce. I'm gonna fold in blue cheese, so it's gonna then become kind of a blue cheese dressing, but this is simple and it's a base that you can use to make your own. And this is really a dump and stir type of recipe. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start with my foundation. I've got a little bit of buttermilk in here. So I'm adding, I don't know, roughly like a cup plus of buttermilk. That'd be one part. I'll do the same with sour cream. So I got buttermilk and sour cream, okay? That's where it's gonna start. Buttermilk, sour cream, and mayonnaise. And I'll do like a half part mayonnaise. And I do this avocado oil mayo. Now, from here, this is the key. That's the base of your dressing. So you wanna mix all that in so that it's rich and creamy and not necessarily kind of chunky and lumpy and clotted and slotted and flotted and rotted. So just mix this together. I like to do this in a bowl, especially because I get my kids in on it a lot. They're not in this video right now because they're all hopped up on caffeine. I gave them a bunch of espresso, so it probably wouldn't have been good. All right, so there we go. So look, right, we got that rich and creamy filling. Now, season it at this point. So I wanna do a good amount of kosher salt in there. You're always gonna salt heavier when you're eating cold foods because the salt comes out less with cold foods. So that's very interesting. You'll notice, like, if you make a chicken salad and you taste it when it's a little bit warm, it's gonna then, and you think the salt is perfect, when you taste it cold, you're gonna think it needs salt. So cold versus hot foods, different level of salt. All right, so now, Boursin cheese. So you can get Boursin cheese at the store. It's this kind of like rich and creamy garlic chive cheese. So I'm gonna use that as a base here, and that's got a ton of flavor. Then I'm going to fold in some blue cheese to this as well. So I've got some point raised blue cheese. Oh, I just love this. To me, this is great. If you're not a blue cheese fan, then skip this. Now let's break this up and kind of mix this in. I'll let the blue cheese chunk in there versus the Alouette or the Boursin cheese, which is gonna be a little bit creamier. Oh yeah, see, now we're talking. Here we go. This is coming together. Now taste it as you go. That's the key, right? You wanna make sure you're going in the right direction. All right, this is very tangy, both because of the blue cheese and the buttermilk. So what I'm gonna need is I'm gonna need a little something to offset that. I'd like a bit more richness, so I'm gonna add Parmesan to give this some richness and umami. Most people don't think about Parmesan in their sauces, but I also know that we're gonna use this on sandwiches, so I wanna make sure that I get that richness from the Parmesan in there. It's funny, my kids don't like Parmesan as a snacking cheese, but if I use Parmesan in a sauce, they don't even realize it. They're like, why? This is so delicious, Dad. Last thing I do is tell them it's the Parmesan, but it's the Parmesan. All right, so now I'm gonna add one of my secret ingredients, a little bit of nutritional yeast, which is incredibly healthy for you. This is a good source of complete protein, B vitamins for body metabolism, skin health, brain development, perfect for keto and paleo diets. So I add about 2 tablespoons of that in there. I'm gonna add another dash of garlic powder, okay? I like it garlicky, but sometimes I don't want that strong, rich, raw garlic flavor that you get from just chopped raw garlic. Plus the chopped raw garlic actually decreases the shelf time or the refrigeration time. Probably only save it for about 5 to 6 days. People think raw garlic can live on for years. It's not. It can actually breed botulism, so be careful with the raw garlic. Now I'll go with some fresh cracked black pepper, a good heavy amount because I want that bite in there. And that's also gonna add another layer of flavor. And then lastly, I want those fresh herbs in there. So I'll do some chives, big surprise, right? And maybe I'll do some fresh thyme as well. So I'll just pull a couple sprigs here. Okay, just dump that in there and then pick some of the fresh thyme right in there. Now this is one of those sauces that will also continue to get better in the refrigerator over time because all the flavors and the fats and the acids will start to meld and emulsify. But if we can taste it right off the bat and it tastes good, then you know it's good to go to begin with. Oh, I got a little bit of the blue cheese hiding in there. Let's get out of there, blue cheese. Oh yeah, now we're talking. Squeeze that blue cheese. Okay, and kind of crush it, right? You wanna use this whisk to crush some of that in there and let that all come together. Okay, we'll give it another taste. I mean, that blue cheese just explodes in there. It blooms like a spring flower coming out after a warm summer rain. Wait, how would the spring flower? Yeah, the spring goes into the summer and then They meet, they get to know each other, it blooms, and it's good. All right, so the final thing, because this is really, really rich right now, is I wanna add a little bit of vinegar. Now, I'm not gonna use white vinegar, I'm gonna use a rice vinegar. It's somewhat sweeter, somewhat milder. So I'll do just about 2 teaspoons, maybe a full tablespoon in there of that vinegar. Now, you see how I'm building this on my own? I'm not working off of a set recipe. I'm tasting it and I'm determining what I need. The way in which I do that is I'm looking at it as salty, sour, sweet, and bitter, and umami as well. So that's the 5th part of the flavor profile. So does it need that richness? Does it need that umami? And it was overly rich or overly umami-like, so I needed to cut it with a little bit of that acidity, which is the sour flavor. Doesn't need salt and doesn't need bitterness. The bitterness can come from things like fresh herbs or even from the vinegar, the fresh cracked black pepper, some of the spice that's in there. That's what you're looking to balance on your palate. So there we go, that's it. And look, you might be thinking to yourself, I need to see what you're gonna make with this. So let's do it. Let's just go ahead. This is what I would make with this if Lauren was here and she was laying on the couch asking me for something delicious. I know that I've got some prosciutto sitting around. I've got some toast sitting around. So let's make a quick prosciutto sandwich with those ingredients. It's that simple. What a coincidence. Here's the prosciutto. Imported from Italy, of course, none of that fake stuff. I love this prosciutto. These packages of this prosciutto, right, where it's already sliced nice and thin. Oh, it's just perfect. Look at that. That right there is heaven, okay? That is heaven right there. So we'll lay these out. Lay each one of these individual pieces out. This bite of the prosciutto is the best right there. On the top of the prosciutto where you have the lard, there's actually a type of, well, I don't want to call it deli meat, but it's a delicacy. It's called the lardo di colonnetta. It's actually from a particular region in Italy where they take only the fat and they cure the fat in these 2 stones, and then they thinly slice it like prosciutto, and you eat the actual fat itself, which is essentially the top piece of this prosciutto. If you're ever going to Italy, ask for that thinly sliced lardo. They used to call me lardo when I was chubby in elementary school, and little did I know that I'd become a chef and I'd be seeking out the lardo. Okay, I got 2 pieces of sourdough right here. We're gonna make the sandwich. Now, somebody asked me once, is prosciutto the same part of the pig as the bacon? Now, the prosciutto is the ham, right? So it's actually the leg of the pig, and the prosciutto is cured, and it's actually cured for a long period of time, hung, dried, and then sliced thinly. The bacon is the belly of the pig, and the bacon is cured and smoked, but then also cooked. So that's the difference, is really where it comes from on the pig. The prosciutto is the leg, the bacon is the belly. There you go. Okay, I'm gonna toast the bread on both sides. There we go, we got some toast, right? Which side do I want? You gotta toast both sides of the bread. Now, here we go. So this sandwich is this simple. I've got the toasted sourdough. I got this beautiful, rich and creamy dressing. Okay, and then we just layer. And you want those air pockets in there with the prosciutto. That's why delis do this, right? Because you get more surface area in each bite. You got the air pockets of the meat. So that's why you always want thinly sliced meat. In addition, what's interesting about thinly sliced meat is that people don't realize that thinly sliced meat actually warms up quicker in your mouth, so your palate can actually taste it better. That's why delis like to use thinly sliced meat. That's also why a lot of times Italian delis, when they're slicing prosciutto and other types of hams, they want it thinly sliced so you can bring it down to room temperature or body temperature and you can taste it better. Now, if you want to be crazy, right, just hit it with a little bit more Parmesan. Just a little drip there. I mean, that's a perfect, simple sandwich right there. Let's give it a slice in half. Who wants to try some of the prosciutto sandwich? So I got 4. Think of it as like a little appetizer, okay?
Probably be so bad.
And it's got blue cheese dressing on there too. This is really fancy food here. Come on, just take a little bite. What do you guys think? Look, Carter and Kaden have good palates. They're eating it. You guys aren't. See, the neighbors eat it. That's good, that's good. The neighbors enjoy my food better than my own kids, so there you go.